On, people? It is TGIS. Thank God it's Saturday, and I'm Alex Thorn, a rock and roller who likes to watch movies in his downtime while wearing a bandana. And it's what, like our fifth time getting together to do this, so that's pretty cool. How you guys doing on this Saturday night? I already see Jeremy Harris down there with the big eyes. What's going on, Jeremy? How's everything going for you this week? You know, I try to come to you guys with these lives just to hang out, talk about the week. And certainly this week, there's a lot to talk about. There really is. Um, I was watching earlier this week, I watched the original Twister. And after, that's after going to the theater to watch Twisters. Now, I'm not saying I never saw the original Twister. I did. I have seen it before. Right away. Let me check the audio here. Boom. There we go. We got audio. I did watch the original Twister back when it came out on VHS, but I don't remember any specifics about it outside of it was a good movie and it had Helen Hunt, and Helen Hunt was what Helen Hunt was in the 90s. And yeah, so going to see Twisters in 4DX, which the review is available on this channel now. I was really taken aback at how good Twisters was, especially in 4DX. And I was talking to my son because this is I believe the second time me and him have experienced 4DX together. I want to say the first time was Godzilla -1 minus color, and that was amazing. But the first time you watch a movie in 4DX, it can be very, very jarring. It's incredibly jarring when you first watch it, to the point where you may not be able to pay attention to the movie that you're actually watching because the seat is moving, because there's air being sprayed right in your face, depending on where you're sitting in the theater, because there's rain falling on you and all that stuff. So it's definitely something that is, you have to be ready for, but I feel like you're never ready, depending on which movie you're watching. So with all that being said, I thought that Twisters was an incredible movie. I thought it looked great. I thought it was really like heavy in terms of character development, and I had wished that it wasn't so heavy on character development. But beyond that, like, let's just make sure I'm in focus. But beyond that, like, going back, everybody has been saying, oh, you should have watched the original Twister instead of the new Twisters movie. Here's how I feel about that. I'm going to be honest with you before I get to like my experience watching Twister at home. I don't get why people are always so against updated versions of an older movie, right? In this case, Twisters was really, really good. Now, when I saw it, I didn't know that it was basically just a carbon copy of the original Twister. But everybody online really was just saying, you should just watch the original. Nothing can top that. They remade it. Like, ease up. You know what I mean? So I ended up watching Twister after everybody was leaving that in the comments and on posts and all that stuff. And you end up seeing it in other reviewers' videos that, you should just watch the original, forget about the new one. I did, and I was shocked at how good the original was. Again, I saw it when it first came out. I also saw it on DVD, I'm pretty sure, because it was the first DVD. So I was around when that kicked off too. But like, Twisters was just really an updated version. I mean, like, beat for beat, it followed the same story. So when it's that close to the original, I don't see the problem, especially when you're talking about updating a movie to the point where it has better CGI than the original. It involves more stuff like YouTube and streamers, but it still followed the story beat for beat. Imagine how many people wouldn't have gone back in time to discover the original Twister without the new Twisters movie. You know what I mean? So that's going to be coming up on the channel, but I'm not going to do it as a regular review. I'm actually going to do it for my members, which, by the way, I'll bring it up here early. If you are interested, my channel does have a membership, and I often release videos exclusively just for that. Speaking of membership, there goes DDG. He is a member of the channel, as you see the badge right there. And I'm actually going to be doing, and the exclusive emoji too. Yeah, coffee, man. I need it right now, especially after the day I've had. But, as I was saying, like, Twisters was, being researched by everybody. Everybody's looking it up and everybody wants to see a video about it. So I released that to the public. But Twister is going to be available for channel members only. And when you become a channel member, not only do you get exclusive reviews, you also get your own membership card, laminated and all, just like the good old days. Be Kind Rewind, Thorn approved. Here's a link right to the channel itself, and then when it was created. So this is something I'm really proud of. That's just one of the many perks, along with videos, exclusives, and all the rest of the stuff. Every single video I make, I talk about it. And I also say, if you don't want to commit to that, you can do a super chat, super thanks, or head over to Buy Me a Coffee. And that spiel. If you don't, Buy Me Coffee is a really cool place where you can support creators such as myself. And, I'm not monetized on this channel yet. So spending, like yesterday, right? Yesterday, I put out the video for Alien Resurrection. You take the time to watch the movie, skip 90 minutes to 2 hours. That's a live that I do with you guys every Monday. And then you've got to do all your research and download all the elements you need, right? All your logos, photos, and YouTube rip-offs, that you got of the trailer and all that stuff. And then you got to take another 3 to 5 hours to edit and hope that you're not going to have to re-edit it. There was one video I did on this channel that was 22 times it got a copyright claim. That video got so torn up. It was incredible. My persistence, I think I was up to like 6 a.m. editing that, and I started at like 5 p.m. Like, I just would not stop until it got accepted. And then I released the full version to my members, which was a music video review, and it was tied to a movie a few years ago. But nonetheless, you guys get like the full-blown package when you become a member of this channel and get your own membership card. Beyond that, as I promised in the thumbnail and in the post, I wanted to talk about my favorite series of all time, Nightmare on Elm Street, and the latest 4K remaster release that it is getting. Have you guys seen the art that is getting a lot of fluff? Everybody's not happy about it online. I can't believe that they didn't contract somebody, like they didn't hire somebody to do the art. And there's so many artists. I've got so many posters here and even in closets where they reimagined the covers and the posters and updated them and put their own spin on it. These artists are amazing, and they've all been coming out, especially today, and saying like, man, it's so disappointing to see a lackluster cover for the first ever 4K of Nightmare on Elm Street. I remember when I picked up the Blu-ray set, which, hold on a second. You can often find the Blu-ray set for like $20, right? Especially on Prime Day. And sometimes it goes on sale, just $27, $30. And they never, ever, oh, DDG. Thank you, my man. $5 donation, my man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's the first time I ever see that on here. That's the first super on a live stream, man. Thank you so much, DDG. Love you, brother. But yeah, like I remember the Blu-ray set, and on the Blu-ray set, they had like on the menus, let's say you put in Nightmare on Elm Street 3, they would have like Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street 5. And on Nightmare on Elm Street 4, they would have Part 3's Freddy. And on Part 5, they would have a Freddy from like Part 1 on the menu. And it just felt like somebody didn't care. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the worst thing, especially when you have a series like Nightmare on Elm Street where people genuinely love the main character and the lore and the mythos, and then you just assign it to somebody who doesn't know it and doesn't care, and then you end up getting like what we got now. In fact, the standard 4K release is going to have the same cover that I believe the DVDs had, either the VHS or the DVDs. I think it was yeah. In fact, yeah, it was the VHSs. The 4K remaster has the same cover as the remastered VHSs that came out in a box set so long ago. And those were okay for the time. Never been a big fan of those. Not a fan of the new one either. And then the Steelbook, to me, it looks okay. It looks cool, but I know that they could have went all out. But New Line Cinema just, I don't know how much love they put into Freddy anymore. I just don't. So that's the deal with that. Let me know in the chat if you guys are Nightmare on Elm Street fans or if you're going to pre-order the new Nightmare on Elm Street. Let's see, what is this? Ah, you could do a poll on here. That's cool. I'm still new to going live on YouTube itself, so I'm seeing things in front of me and, I haven't clicked on them yet. Not at all. So next on the list that I wanted to talk to you guys about was actually something that I've seen online a lot of chatter about in groups, right? They've been sharing the trailer, they've shared maybe a screenshot from the movie, and it just looks very, very interesting. And it looks like something that couldn't be made today. Now, of course, I could have rented it. I could have seeked it out on Blu-ray, DVD, whatever, but I didn't want to do that. This movie came out that I'm about to talk to you guys about, and I haven't seen it yet. I'm excited to, though. This movie, it looks like it came out in 86, so it came out when I was born. It's called Soul Man. And apparently this movie could not be made today, and it's about this guy right here doing essentially blackface. From what I've heard, haven't seen it yet, like I said, doing essentially blackface so that he can become part of a team. Like, just that alone, that by itself, that premise seems wild. And then this is definitely the original too, because it still has the Be Kind Rewind thing. I don't know what the hell that is, but it's going to play regardless. I don't care. I'm not one of those marks who thinks it can't play after that. But yeah, this is a New World video. Yeah, this is wild. I've heard nothing but funny things about it. But again, I'm thinking that once I watch it, one of two things are going to happen. Either I'm going to release a review for it for members only, another members only review for a lot of the older ones, because I feel like the newer movies are the ones that people are searching online. So of course you don't want to hide those from the public, but the older ones are really for people who, are like me, that they're into niche stuff. And this one I think is going to be a member only review. But at the same time, I need to know from you guys. I don't necessarily watch alongs on YouTube, even though I do them here. I find it a little weird. I'm going to like break the fourth wall for you guys and kind of reveal something here. I find it a little weird that people tune in to basically hear a YouTuber narrate what they're watching, because you can't see it, right? Because we can't put it up. We can't put the audio up because then we're going to get a copyright on the video, which I experienced the first time I went live with Alien for that watch along. I find it weird, right? And so there's got to be a way or a platform where I can do a watch along, a live watch along, and you guys can see what I'm watching and hear it. Like, that would be really cool. Do I have to go through Patreon or something? Because I think still here on YouTube we can do that, right? I can still leave it to where I'm narrating it, but then there's got to be another version for people who pay a small price to watch it. Let me know in the comments below, if you guys know of such a thing or anything like that. Let me see here. Yeah, I am going to add as a moderator. Yes, sir. So DDG, if you're still here, my man, thank you so much for the $5 donation, but also you are now a moderator, just in case I miss anybody trying to get crazy in the comments section. I think D also said he was going to make you a moderator of his channel. So you've got your badge on as well, brother. But yeah, as I was saying, like I really don't know how you guys can watch it. Now, a company did send this out to me, and I'm thinking maybe this is one of the ways that we could do it. But again, I got to get educated on this too. But they sent out Warkey, sent out a capture card, a USB 3.0 capture card. And I'm thinking if I watch the movies on my computer and have the camera on me, maybe then, you know, I can do something like that. I'm still new to this streaming world and this live world. So again, you guys in the comments, let me know if capture card and Patreon is a way where I can actually do a watch along and you guys can see and hear what I'm watching. Because here on YouTube, we can't do that. And I'm not going to ignore you guys on YouTube. Yes, Hagibis woodwork. But so will Warkey, from what I hear. So they're a really good company. Great build. I already opened it and looked at it, but I haven't, you know, had the opportunity to use it just yet. Beyond that, I wanted to also speak to you guys about the Alien franchise that I've been doing a deep dive on. This series is interesting, man, and it's really interesting because, like, when you talk about aliens, that you're really only talking about Alien and Aliens. That's it. You're really only speaking about the first two movies to anybody you speak to. Nobody really goes out of their way to speak about any of the other ones unless they're diehard fans or they say, yeah, there was like a movie like Prometheus or something like that, right? That's pretty much it. But turn down this light just a little bit. It's a little harsh. But, you know, saw the trailer for Romulus. So DDG says he saw the trailer for Romulus when I went to go see Deadpool. Oh, it looks amazing. It looks amazing, man. The Alien Romulus looks solid. So before I get on to all that, how was Deadpool? Did anybody else in the chat see Deadpool beyond DDG? Let me know, man, because I'm not you know what? If it was just a Wolverine movie, I would have went and saw it. You guys would have got a review for it if it was just a Wolverine movie, but I don't like a smart ass superhero. I don't think that's personally, I just don't think 10 bandanas, it's not your system, brother. It goes from 1 to 5, but I get what you're saying. You're saying you like the movie. DDG says it's a 10 bandana movie. But, you know, I can't do like a smart ass, funny superhero. It doesn't make sense to me. To me, it's like, why would you be fighting crime and be a smart ass at the same time? Like, this, you know, serious business, you know? So Logan on his own, I could definitely watch him. I can't watch Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool, and it's just not my type of movie. And I'm really, really, really over superheroes in general. Like, it's just there was a line in the new Beverly Hills Cop at the end where he goes, "What do I do?" or "What should I do?" or something like that. One of the characters says, and the other character goes, "Shoot bad guys." And that's it. That's all I want from my action movie. Just give me guys shooting and martial arts. Like, give me hand-to-hand combat, bombs, explosives, martial arts, shooting guns. I don't want to see people flying anymore. I don't want to see people in these elaborate suits. Let it go away. It was cool for a little while and it ran its course. You know, I don't want to see any more of that stuff. But nonetheless, like I was mentioning, I'm glad you enjoyed Deadpool / Wolverine and gave it 10 bandanas. If anybody else saw it or is looking forward to see it this weekend, let me know. So Alien, I feel like everybody just, when you speak to them about this series, they're really just talking about Alien 1 and 2. And on this channel right now, I am going through all 8 movies leading up to the 9th movie, Romulus, on August 16th. So there's currently 4 watch-alongs and 4 reviews on this channel. And the one thing I notice is that, like, this series is very up and down. you've got one that sets this very eerie sci-fi horror tone, similar to Terminator, and then it just shoots up like the action and becomes a sci-fi action in part two, which I love. Right, everybody loves Aliens, but then you go to part three, and I am not favorable to it. I don't hate part three. This was essentially a first time watch for me because I do remember the aesthetics of that movie as a kid. And I do remember the posters, the trailers. I had two action figures from that series from when I was a kid. But like the movie itself, especially because Ripley was bald and, just for me, not interested. It just, and like that copper brownish tone is a very grunge tone to Alien 3. And I did my research after I did the review and after I watched the movie. I did a lot of research. I know it's a little backwards, but I try to give you guys my raw thoughts, right? I don't want to do a bunch of research before the movie and have a bunch of stuff in my head and then after it watch other reviewers and then have my opinion, my raw opinion, influenced by what they say. That's one of the things about it. I don't know what you mean by that, DDG, but yeah. But he anyways, he got me cracking up. You're messing me up, man. But no, I don't like the grungy look of part three. I don't like that, they took us so high with aliens and gave us a bunch of aliens and then dropped us back down like, oh, we're gonna go back down to basics in part three. Who asked for that? Nobody did. But then again, like I found out after the review and after watching it that there was an assembly cut. I streamed the one that I watched on Hulu, which was the theatrical version. I think it was like 2 hours long, but the assembly cut is 2.5 hours long or something like that, and adds a bunch of context to it. I just That's a whole discussion by itself because I found out that Alien 3 has like its own little fan base for it by itself. And then you get to Alien Resurrection, and I never saw this movie. In fact, this was the only one that I think I purposely went out of my way not to watch when I first had the VHS collection way, way back when I was in high school. I don't know what it was. I think it's because I saw Winona Ryder was in the movie, and I'd never been a big fan of hers. And watching it this time, as you guys will see, to me, she is one of the issues with the movie. Not that there's a lot of issues, but she's just like one of the actresses in the movie that just blah. She doesn't seem present. And I know that she went on to have a tremendous career in Hollywood, but she's just never been anybody that I want to see a movie because Winona Ryder's in it, right? Not at all. But there's an all-star cast in it, right? There's besides Sigourney Weaver and Winona Ryder, there's also Ron Perlman. In my review, I cut this out, but I also made mention originally before I cut it out that Brad Dourif, the voice of Chucky, is in the movie, and he actually adds some pretty cool elements to it. He's a part of some really cool scenes. There's a moment at the end where he's like, cocooned up or whatever, and he's just like speaking like a nut, and it's perfect for him because he's seeing the newborn baby be born from the queen, which I don't know. I didn't even say this, but I'm thinking about it now in that scene. And the queen had some weird like roach arms in this movie in Alien Resurrection. And she's only in it for like, I don't know, like maybe a minute before she gets killed by the newborn alien, which is, atrocious. There's moments where it looks scary, but when you give an alien titties, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. That design doesn't work. I mentioned in my review that, and I also cut out some of this content. So this is a good opportunity to let you guys in on some of the stuff that I don't get to include on some of the reviews. But I would challenge somebody who does visual effects, because a lot of times you see people like fixing Jurassic Park or fixing an old movie or something like that, right? I would challenge one of those visual effects YouTuber guys to throw in a pumpkin head, the pumpkin head character in Alien Resurrection instead of that newborn baby, just to see what it looks like, because that newborn alien, it just looks so dumb. It looks so ridiculous. I was reading reviews after I made the review, of course. I was reading reviews on Letterboxd, which, by the way, I am on Letterboxd now. I found out about that just maybe 2 weeks ago. And that is a really cool social site for people who love to watch movies. And my reviews are in written form there. Not all of them yet. I'm working on them because, there's over 200 videos on this channel. So that means I got to transfer some, little by little 200 reviews over to Letterboxd. But I was looking what people said, and they were saying that they felt letterboxed. It's called letterbox. So it's literally letterbox, but with a D at the end. No ED, just D. Yeah, letterbox, but with a D at the end after the X. So DDG was asking what's it called. But nonetheless, people were saying that they actually had remorse for the alien, the newborn alien. And I'm like, how? This thing looked dumb. Granted, it was a lot of women who were saying it, but it's still like how they managed to make something that looked scary at moments and then looked ridiculous at other moments at the same time is odd, because usually when you see a design, you're like, that's badass, and that's it. That's badass, point blank. Not this time. This time it was just like, oh, it's badass. Well, what the hell is it doing? Oh, it's got titties. Oh, it's badass. Oh, why is it making that face? Why am I seeing that face and the whole body? And it's a weird thing. But thankfully, it's only in the movie for like, the last 5-6 minutes. Thankfully, it's only in there for like the last 5-6 minutes. And I found Alien Resurrection to be a pretty cool ride, to be honest. I know the next up in the series, which is this Monday, I'll be doing a watch along on this channel of AVP, Alien vs. Predator, which came out in 2004. And I remember, man, I was in high school and I was so excited. I remember Fox 32 local channel had a special, like a behind the scenes special before the movie came out to hype people up. And I remember watching it in my grandfather's room on like a little 19-inch tube TV. So I've got a little bit of a affinity for AVP. So it's going to be really fun to watch that. My son had just mentioned to me, like, didn't we watch that not too long ago? And I'm like, yeah, like 3 years ago we watched it. So to him, it was just recently, but he liked it. He was like, oh, that's pretty cool. You're going to watch it again, but for the channel. So the one that I'm kind of concerned about going forward is AVP2 Requiem. I'm not hearing good things. I'm not seeking out any reviews or anything like that about this movie or anybody's opinion, but because, on YouTube and on Google, I have to constantly look up alien stuff, since that's what we're doing for the past month and heading into the next month. All I'm seeing now is like alien related stuff all over my timelines. And people just yesterday started talking in my timeline about Requiem. And they're saying it's so dark that you can't see anything. They're saying that the movie is incredibly bleak. Like there's just a bunch of weird stuff in it. If you can't even see the aliens because it's so dark. For somebody who really, really, really liked AVP, I had a ex-girlfriend who worked at Blockbuster in the dying days, and she rented that movie. And before Netflix and chill, I guess that night it was Blockbuster and chill. I don't remember anything about that movie. That thing started up, and when the aliens came to Earth. I came somewhere else. So, either way, DDG down over here says he wasn't a fan of either one, AVP 1 or AVP 2. Man, if you want to join in, it may be different now, 20 years later. I can't believe that it's 20 years ago. I find myself, like I just said, I was in high school, and I find myself saying 20 years ago this happened, and I'm like, wow. It doesn't feel like 20 years ago to me. It feels like 10. Time really flies. You got to do what you can do when you can do it, because by the time you know it, 20 years flies by. Speaking on the subject of aliens, I do want to remind you guys that on the ranking video that will be out after Alien Romulus, I'm going to be giving away this collector's edition, this director's cut of Alien. This is probably one of the nicest DVDs I've seen in a long time. It is gorgeous. So on the ranking video, I'll be giving this away to one of you guys. I love doing giveaways, and I don't know how people feel about that in YouTube land, if you guys feel like it's a ploy to just get people to follow or anything like that. But honestly, these things are awesome for you guys, and I'd rather give stuff away than anything else. I love making people happy, and this is going to be given away, like I said, on the ranking video after Alien Romulus is reviewed and after that comes out. This is really solid. And you see, even this, I didn't even get to see the director's version, the director's cut of this movie. I saw the standard theater release of this movie, just like I have with everything else. DDG was actually here for Aliens, and we got to watch that one. And we chose specifically to watch the theatrical version just because we feel like, and I feel like most people only know of the theatrical versions of these movies. Eventually, later down the line, for like more content, I'll be able to do theatrical versus, director's cut or something like that. But with time being so limited as it is, these movies are 2 hours, and then you want to stretch them out to 2.5 hours, and it's a lot. And it doesn't have to just be, like, oh, well, if you enjoy the movie, then 2.5 hours is fine. No, I don't care if it's Freddy or Jason, like my two favorites, or even if it was an Eddie Murphy movie. If that thing is 2.5 hours long, count me out. I don't want to watch it. Keep my movies around 100 minutes, and I'm happy. What about you guys? How do you guys feel about these 2.5 hour movies? I can't make it through them. I get agitated, to be honest with you. Another movie that I went and saw in theaters this week, I would not have chosen to watch this. I'm gonna get into this, but I did a 1-minute review that's about to come up. I'll talk about that in a second, DDG, and I'll bring up your question. But I did not choose to go watch this, but you get dragged into watching this stuff when you have kids and you're a father. But Despicable Me 4. This is not the worst movie ever by any means. But when I tell you this series is getting thin, it is really getting thin. If you have not seen Despicable Me 4 yet, I would say definitely wait for it to come to streaming. It's nothing that you have to, immediately run to the theater to see. I just don't understand why they feel the need to make it so over the top ridiculous. I feel like the Minions, the first movie, had a reason to exist, and then also part 1 and part 2 of Despicable Me had reasons to exist. But this fourth one, they really got to get back down to basics and give them real reasons, motivation for the characters to do what they do, because it seems to be like, hey, let's just put them in any silly situation we can just to get a movie out of them. And that just wasn't going to work. So usually I do review almost every movie I watch on this channel, but there is going to be a 1-minute short review that comes out of that. So be on the lookout for that one if it hasn't come out. I know one came out today, a short that I had pre-planned, that I don't know if it was even that one, because I kind of make these things in advance and plan them out. So DDG says, any upcoming movies you are excited to go see? We talked about I Am Legend 2. That's right. I did see the news of I Am Legend 2 being a continuation of the extra ending, or the like cutting room floor ending, the alternate ending. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. I saw news about that, which is weird because that means that, again, back to what I was saying with the aliens, right? If most people only know this version of the movie and diehard people know the director's cut, when something with like I Am Legend, most people are going to remember how the movie actually ended in the theater for them, or the many times they saw it on TV. Only the diehards are going to know about that alternate ending that was released on YouTube, or alternate ending that was a part of the Blu-ray. That's an interesting, you know, approach to make a sequel based off of an alternate ending. Unless they somehow open the movie with like erasing that ending that you guys saw, or we all saw, and then, making it into whatever they're going to make it into. I appreciate, just Will Smith coming back to the screen full force, as I feel like he's doing better now than he has in the last few years. And yes, I'm talking about pre-Grammy or whatever moment, or like just, I feel like the last 10 years or so, he's been a little off in movies, but he's coming back. He's doing his thing. He's coming back. So I'm happy about that. Man, as far as any other movies, I think Smile 2, I just did a short on that that's going to come out on Tuesday. That comes out in October. I'm looking forward to that. I'm cautious because I don't know if it's just going to be another filler horror movie, as so many horror movies tend to be, right? Tarot, that just got released or is about to get released on Netflix. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that in the theater. I didn't hear good things, but when I don't hear good things, I might like it. If I hear too many good things, I might not like it. I'm kind of like that guy. I go against the grain a bit of what most people like. And then, of course, Alien Romulus, but it seems a little thin. Movies. I think I saw that there was a new Transformers, and they released a scene from a new Transformers movie. Now, I've never been a fan of Transformers, the movies. I loved the cartoon. I love the action figures, but like the movies, when they started coming out in the mid 2000s, to me, I was like, that's not Transformers. Whatever's going on there, all that stuff that's happening, that's not Transformers. Then I see a trailer today, a glimpse of a trailer. I didn't watch it, but I saw a glimpse of a trailer on X, and it looked like they actually brought the classic versions back. They actually brought the classic versions back. So, you gotta simplify it, man. Don't go overboard. In fact, that Transformers series has been going on so long. Okay. That Transformers series has been going on so long that I think the fourth Terminator Salvation, tried to replicate what they were doing with one of their Terminators. They like captured people and put it in there. Like, that's how long that series has been going on. And somehow just now they're getting to the point where they make things look like they should look with Transformers. So I don't know who makes decisions on these movies, but I'm guessing if people I know want to go watch it, I'll go watch it with them. But it's not a choice for me. DDG says, I think the last horror movie we saw that I loved was Evil Dead. Oh, man. Evil Dead Rise. What a movie. What's fun, I'll tell you something, a little funny story about that is that me and DDG go to watch that. There's so many moments in Evil Dead Rise that we're just like looking like that the whole time, and putting our hands to our head. At times we were just like, elbowing each other of like what the gruesomeness that was going on. And I come home, I do the review, and I say, I love the movie, but I'll never watch it again. Like, it's disturbing how much blood is in Evil Dead Rise. I'll never watch it again. Fast forward, and I have to show my son this movie. So I do watch it again and enjoy it just as much as I did the first time, right? And he sees it and he goes, Daddy, I love this movie, but I never want to watch it again. He had the same reaction that I had watching Evil Dead Rise. And guess what? You are going to end up watching it again because it's just so damn good. Speaking of which, DDG, eventually we got to watch the 2013 release of Evil Dead. I've never seen it. I think the only Evil Deads I ever seen were the first three, the originals. And I'm not a fan of campy horror and the least bit. I think there could be funny moments in horror movies, but like making the violence be funny, haha, is not okay to me. I don't like that. So I was never a fan of the original three, the trilogy of Evil Dead. But this new Evil Dead Rise was incredible. And if Evil Dead from 2013 is anything like Evil Dead Rise, then I definitely will want to watch that movie. DDG says I'm down. There we go. Member going to come through and watch that on a live watch along, or he might just be part of the review. I don't know. I'll figure a way to get you in there. But guys, this has been a blast. I try to do this every Saturday. TGIS, thank God it's Saturday. As you can hear, my voice is kind of going here and there. I'm actually working on one of the singles for later on in the year. My next single is called She Owns the Night. That's out of my hands. That's, the magic is being worked by the producers and all that stuff. But I've been singing quite a bit. And so my voice is kind of going. There's two more singles, so three in total, but like two more after the new one that are going to come out. And that's what I'm working on right now. I try to do this every Saturday with you guys, just catch up on what's been going on in my week, in your week, talk about some of the news, give you some elaborate, thoughts on the reviews that I've been doing that I have to cut out, because to be honest with you, what you guys see in 8 minutes, 12 minutes, that's cut down from like 20 to 30 minutes that I make these reviews. So eventually, maybe down the line, the longer versions will come out for members. And as always, I got to pitch it, because if I don't talk about it, nobody else will, right? This channel has memberships. And if you're interested in getting a membership card and early access to videos and exclusive live chats and all these cool things, then you got to join this channel's memberships. Just head over to the membership page over here. You'll see all the exclusive stuff that you get. But with that being said, please reserve your ticket for Monday's watch along of AVP right here on this channel. We are deep into the Alien series and only going to get deeper. So I'm Alex Thorn, and you know what I got to do. I got to watch some movies, rock out, and review them for you. Like and subscribe to the channel. Peace out.